Good morning, Eben, and thank you very much for having me.
Fantastic. It's such an exciting day today as we build up to the Pope's arrival in Kenya tomorrow. Just tell us about the mood in Kenya. It's been a difficult year with terrorist attacks and the likes, but it's finishing the year on a big high, really, for Kenya, isn't it?
Indeed, and what has happened is that most newspapers now are actually just focusing on it. The Daily Nation here talking about the need for Kenyans to celebrate, saying for once Kenyans now have reason to celebrate, saying that it is a time for the country to come together and just focus for the first time on something that is exciting. But it's also been an exciting year because it is also this year that the US President Barack Obama visited the country. So they're looking at all those things and saying, indeed, despite everything, it has been a good year for the country.
And tell us about what people are talking about on the streets with regards to the Pope's visit that's still ahead in Kenya.
Well, they're talking about very high expectations. A lot of them saying they're hoping that the pontiff will pray for reconciliation in Kenya, will pray for the need to end negative ethnicity. They're also focusing a lot on corruption. A lot of people have been sharing a tweet from the Pope's handle, which said that corruption is one of the evils of society. And it comes at a time when President Kenyatta has reinvigorated the fight against corruption in the country. And so many of them are also hoping, and especially KOT, Kenyans on Twitter, are hoping that the Pope will talk about corruption in the country.
And tell me about the itinerary of the Pope. It's a kind of whirlwind tour. He'll stop at several locations in the capital. Run me through the itinerary quickly.
When he gets to Nairobi tomorrow, he will directly be driven to State House, Nairobi, where we'll have a meeting with President Kenyatta. And then after that, they will have a joint press conference. He will then the following day hold an open-air mass where at least 1 million people are expected to attend. He's also going to be holding a meeting with various religious leaders. He is known to be a pope of reconciliation and inclusivity. So he will be meeting leaders from all religious groups that are represented in Kenya. Then the following day, he will have a meeting with the youth. He calls that a highlight of his visit, and also meet officials of the United Nations Environment Program, UNEP. Remember, he's released an encyclical talking about climate change and talking about how the poor are being affected by climate change. And then on the last day of his trip, he will go to a slum here in Nairobi called Kangemi, where he will meet 1,500 people, mostly those people who live in the slums, poor people, disabled people, refugees. But most also interesting is that he will meet a group of women who stitched the clothes that he will wear during his visit in the country.
Now, the key focus, of course, have been on security for the last couple of days. I'm sure that there are special security arrangements in place. What are the government saying with regards to the Pope's safety and security in general? And what have they been telling the nation around this?
Well, on Sunday, there was a joint press conference between the Office of the President, the Office of the Inspector General of Police, and the Catholic Church. The police said that they had heightened security, especially in the city where we expect the population to increase by about 1 million, because there are a lot of people also coming from the other countries and also outside of Nairobi to attend the Mass. Earlier, they had said that they expect to have at least 10,000 police officers to just man the areas where the Pope is likely to go through, and also to heighten security in other areas, because as they concentrate on where the Pope will be, it is likely that other areas may be affected. But they are saying that they are aware that anything could happen and they have heightened security in the country. Also, one of the things that they have done is that anybody who will be attending the press conference, the Mass, whether a priest or a Pope or a bishop or members of the press, are expected to have a card like the one I'm holding now, and each one of them must present it to the people at the gate. There'll also be very thorough security checks. Somebody will have to go at least through 4 security checks before they can enter any of the venues where he will be.
Oh, that's very tight security. Now, in conclusion here, Sarah, we're asking our viewers a question today. The question is, what does the Pope's visit mean to the African continent? What do you think? What does it mean?
Well, it means that he is thinking about the 1 billion people who represent the Catholic faithful, because Africa, it is believed that the people who from the Catholic religion on the continent could be between 500 million to about 600 million. And so it is for the people who we have spoken to, they're saying it means that they have not been forgotten. But also for a country, the countries that he has chosen, most of them have very many young people who are poor, who are unemployed. So it shows that he is thinking about including everybody on the fold into the Catholic faith.
Sarah, thank you very much for joining us today. Sarah Kimani will be live with us over the next couple of days in Kenya as the Pope wraps up his visit or concludes his visit in Kenya. Now, the Vatican's message to the African continent is that the Pope, he will focus on talking about religious tolerance and peace.
The SABC News will bring you comprehensive coverage of Pope Francis' visit to Africa. We'll report on his trip from Nairobi, Kenya to Kampala, Uganda. Don't miss the historical event. SABC News team.